All right, so next we're going to get into Dwyane Wade. He played his last game at the Staples Center against LeBron James last night, dropped a tough one. Zai, what do you got?
Well, I mean, the game overall was just comes down to the Lakers are a little better than the Heat. They got LeBron, so they're kind of winning the closer games against the teams they should know. But I mean, I think it was a cool scene what LeBron and Dwayne did after the game. You can see they got a great friendship, and it's crazy to think what would have happened to LeBron if he would have never went to Miami. What do you want a ring? What do what would have happened? So yeah, I think it's a great story, and I think you see Dwayne's going to move out to LA. Their kids are going to be really close. Don't be just surprised if Wade has a job as a coach, trainer, or something for the Lakers next year. So I think that's just the story there. The game itself kind of got overlooked, but I guess it's just really good friends, and that's a great relationship, and they've had great careers.
Yeah, kind of goes I. This game really wasn't about Miami Heat versus Los Angeles Lakers last night. It was about Dwayne Wade, LeBron James playing together for one final time, their friendship, and it was just a cool scene to see them exchange jerseys afterwards and just respect each other as players and as friends. But like I think people don't realize Dwayne Wade before LeBron went to Miami. They see Dwayne Wade as LeBron's sidekick. But let me tell you one thing: the 2006 NBA Finals. I remember watching. It was like yesterday when they beat Dallas, and just kind of look at the numbers. Dwayne Wade, Finals MVP, and people's gonna say yes, they had Shaq, but this wasn't vintage Shaq. This wasn't Shaq when he played for the Lakers or the Magic. This is when he was in the back end of his prime, or maybe he wasn't even his prime, but he wasn't the Shaq of old. What I'm getting at is he backpacked team. He was the man. He averaged almost 35 points a game, almost 8 rebounds a game, and almost 4 assists a game in the finals. So he was a man, and like he should be first ballot Hall of Famer. That should be his legacy. He wasn't a sidekick. If anything, he was a great teammate. He was selfless for teaming up with LeBron and getting 2 more championships on top of that third one that he had in 2006. So just a great career. Entered the same time as LeBron. I thought it was just a pretty surreal moment post game.
I've always liked watching Dwyane Wade. The way he plays a game. He's been very, very humble throughout his career. The things he's done for the community of Miami, and I know he had a little vacation with the Bulls, but I think it was something special for Miami to get him back and for him to go on this final ride with Miami this year and to do what he did with LeBron James last night. And like you said, that '06 finals, he essentially carried that Miami team. I know Shaq was on that team, like you said, but he was something else. He played his heart out against the Pistons in the conference finals and, throughout the season, and he deserved that finals MVP. So I always give my respect to Dwyane Wade. In fact, I think he was the one that got LeBron James to come there to
Absolutely.
form that team.
Mhm.
So creds to him for, and be playing a good career, and I agree, should be on the first ballot Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's going to go down as one of the best shooting guards of all time. And he was the one that recruited LeBron to come to Miami. And then ultimately they got Chris Bosh to come with him that made that three-headed monster.
I think it was unfortunate for Dwayne a little bit in his career because he always, he probably would have been the best shooting guard in the league at all times if it wasn't for Kobe. And I think he didn't get talked about as much because Kobe was so good as a shooting guard that, people didn't really kind of Dwayne Wade kind of took the back seat to that. But a great player did carry that 2016 play. Always played good in big games in the playoffs. Like never, never had a no show. Like always, good numbers, good shooting percentage. Like played good, carried his teams. But I do agree. Like talk about his character. Like one of the things that you see in the league now, a lot of people talk about how guys can't play with LeBron. Well, Dwayne Wade is one of those guys that understood, like, hey, I'm probably not going to win a ring on my own anymore. Like, I need LeBron. LeBron needs me. Let's work together. Let's not worry about who shoots it, who does this. Let's just go win us some rings. And he did that, and that speaks a lot to him and, why he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer because he took the back seat instead of needing to score 28 every night. He was okay with scoring 20 and going and winning a couple of rings. So, yeah, he's definitely a first ballot, and he's one of the best shooting guards of all time. And, I think he'll be around the game still for a while because, somebody like that, once you love the game, I don't see him going anywhere. So just I think it was really exciting. And, kind of like we watched Kobe go out, it's going to be fun to watch him go out, play his last game in a lot of these places and kind of see the story.
Yeah, and he's one of those players that deserves to have, a year of standing ovations, like what happened when he checked into Los Angeles. He's that kind of caliber player. And I don't know if he posted on Twitter or Instagram or what it was, but last night after the game, he's just going to say how he misses just those environments, the atmosphere. And going back to your point, Zai, he's one of those players that lived for the big moments. He didn't shy away from it. His game rose to the next level. Biggest games of his career was in the NBA Finals or those Game 7s and semifinals. He was one of those players that would just drool for the big moments.
He always showed up in them too.
Hmm.
Now I'm looking ahead here. I know it's far away in April, but on the 9th, it's not the last game of the season, but Dwyane Wade's final game with the Miami Heat, assuming he stays healthy, will be against the 76ers. So, that could be a huge game for Miami. Seeming they are in the playoff race with how crappy the Eastern's been so far. Got plenty of season left. And how good the Sixers will end up being. So, who knows? Dwyane Wade, I don't know if he'll score 60 like Kobe Bryant did, but I can honestly see him dropping at least 30 points in that last game with the Miami Heat.
And who knows? They're sitting at the 9th seed right now at 11-15. They're only a half game behind the Magic, which Magic 12-15, I don't see them doing anything.
They'll fall apart.
Yeah, nobody on that roster really scares me. So hopefully he can kind of go out making the postseason. That'd be cool.
I agree. He could end up being like the vintage Dwyane Wade. Now, it doesn't mean the Heat will beat the Raptors or the Milwaukee Bucks, but as well as I do, Dwyane Wade will carry that team and they will fight their hearts out. I can't really compare them, to three players, but it could kind of be like the big three in Boston, when they played the Knicks in that final series. Everybody's like, is this Paul Pierce's last game? Is this their last game together? And they fought to the end in that 6-game series. The Knicks were actually a good team then. So I think they could give Toronto or Milwaukee a 6-game series and play them tough.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they'll make the playoffs just because there's that motivation, want to send out Dwyane in the postseason, and it just be based on the draw if they have a chance. They got to be healthy, stuff like that. So, but I do see them making the playoffs, and that'd be good for Dwyane. Heck of a story.
Yeah, they need to try to get to the 7th seed. Try to somehow surpass Charlotte or whoever it is, Detroit, because if they go in as 8th seed and have to go to Toronto, there's no way. They're probably losing in 4 or 5 games. Now, if they play Milwaukee, who knows? They're more susceptible to getting upset. But if they play Toronto and they go in at the 8th seed, there's no way they're going to make it to the second round.
I could see them playing tough if they get the 6th seed somehow. When Philadelphia gets that 3 seed. You could see him playing, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Miami played Philly last year in the first round, and that was a pretty good series.
Yeah.
So I think Miami could play the Sixers tough. They could play the Celtics somewhat tough, I think. I know Boston will be healthier by then, and they'll have all their guys, and Boston's Boston, but whoever the Heat play, I think Dwyane Wade, being a great shooting guard, being a great player, overall role model, as he's been, he's going to be one of the top reasons why this Miami Heat team could either pull it tough in the playoffs or possibly pull an upset over somebody. Who knows? That'll wrap it up with our Dwyane Wade. Next, we're going to talk about the state of the Chicago Bulls.